Jalen Core had always been a wanderer. Space, with all its quiet beauty and dangers, had become his home more than any planet ever could. He was a simple man, not a soldier, not an explorer. A mechanic, a transporter, someone who fixed ships and moved goods where others feared to go. Today, he had landed on Vardes 9, a dead, abandoned world at the edge of known space. The planet had once been a bustling trade hub, a crossroads of countless species, but now it lay quiet, with only the skeletons of starports and empty docking bays left behind. Jalen's freighter, the Starling, had a broken reactor coil. Nothing too serious, but enough to make him want a quiet place to work. Vardes 9 seemed perfect. No one would disturb him, and the abandoned starport had tools, or at least things he could jury-rig. The airlock hissed as he entered the docking bay. Dust floated lazily in beams of sunlight streaming through broken windows in the roof. Jalen's boots echoed on the metal floor. The place smelled of rust, oil, and old machinery. He walked past rows of abandoned ships. Most were small transports, some old fighters, and then in the far corner of the dock he saw it. A massive cruiser, twice the size of his freighter, covered in decades of dust. Its hull was scratched and dented in places, but somehow it looked pristine, almost untouched by time. Jalen paused. Something about the ship felt different. It wasn't just the size. It wasn't just the age. He bent down and brushed away a thick layer of dust, revealing faded letters etched into the hull. AURELIA Vanguard. He froze. The name was familiar, though he couldn't immediately place it. The Aurelia Vanguard was a legend among spacefarers. A human ship that had vanished decades ago on a secret mission. Rumors said it had carried invaluable technology, maybe even weapons, maybe even lost colonies' coordinates. No one knew. And now, here it sat, in an abandoned starport that shouldn't even exist on maps anymore. Jalen shook his head. He had come here just to fix his freighter, not dig into ancient mysteries. Yet curiosity gnawed at him like a persistent itch. "All right, old girl," he muttered, brushing more dust from the hull. "Let's see what you're hiding." The air around the cruiser felt heavier. Jalen could swear the metal seemed to hum under his touch. He climbed the access ladder to the main hatch and carefully twisted the handle. Surprisingly, it turned with ease. The door hissed open. Darkness stretched inside, broken only by faint lines of light along the corridor edges. The smell of dust and metal filled his nose. He stepped in cautiously, his flashlight cutting through the shadows. It was quiet, too quiet. The interior was magnificent. The walls gleamed under the dust, panels and consoles untouched by corrosion. It was as if time had stopped for this ship. Jalen's fingers itched to touch the controls. Old instincts as a mechanic told him this was beyond anything he had ever seen. Technology older than him, yes, but strangely human. He wandered down the main corridor, brushing off the railings. As he explored, he noticed the control consoles had data flickering faintly on the screens. Logs, systems, star charts, something was alive here. And then the strangest thing happened. The ship powered on. Not fully, but lights along the corridors glowed and soft hums came from engines that hadn't moved in decades. Jalen jumped back. He was alone, wasn't he? There shouldn't be power in this ship. Yet here it was, responding to him as if it recognized his presence. A soft, almost musical voice spoke through speakers embedded in the walls. "Welcome, Jalen Core. You are authorized to enter." Jalen froze. Did the ship just talk to him? He looked around, half expecting someone to step out of the shadows. No one. Authorized," he said cautiously. "Who's there?" "I am Irevan, ship AI of the Aurelia Vanguard. You are human, you may proceed." Jalen blinked. An AI, incredible. Not some broken protocol system, but a conscious, semi-sentient mind. He rubbed his eyes. "Okay, Irevan," he said slowly. "I'm just here to fix my freighter, nothing else. I don't want trouble." "Trouble is optional, curiosity is not. Welcome aboard." Jalen swallowed. He had read about humans and AI interacting, but nothing like this. Somehow, this ship seemed alive, and now it had acknowledged him. He stepped further into the ship. The corridors were lined with rooms that seemed to be laboratories, crew quarters, storage bays. Everything was meticulously maintained. Irevan guided him, pointing out systems that needed repair, ironically, many of which Jalen could understand instantly, because they were surprisingly similar to human engineering principles. This ship was built long before your time, Irevan said. Yet its mechanisms align with human problem-solving logic. It is remarkable, Jalen grinned. He had never been called remarkable before by anyone, much less a sentient ship. As he moved deeper, he came to the bridge. The massive windows showed the empty starport outside and stars beyond that, but something about the display panels caught his attention. They weren't just star maps. They were projections of other galaxies, distant star systems humans had never charted. "Why is this here?" Jalen whispered. "The ship's mission was to explore the unknown. You are not the first human to step aboard, but you are the first in decades." Jalen nodded slowly, trying to process it. All he wanted was a quiet place to repair his freighter. Now he had stumbled onto a ship lost to history, with AI intelligence and maps beyond imagination. He crouched near one of the consoles, brushing dust from an old storage compartment. Inside, he found personal effects, a faded journal, tools, and photographs. Faces of men and women smiled at him from the past, a crew that had disappeared. Then he saw a small, folded note tucked in the journal. It read, "If anyone finds this, know that humans are meant to endure, adapt, survive, prove your worth, for the galaxy is watching." Jalen's heart pounded. What did this mean? Who was watching? And why? He shook his head, forcing himself to focus. He had a freighter to repair, but something deep inside told him this was only the beginning. As he turned to leave the bridge, he heard it, a faint clanging from the lower decks echoing through the empty corridors. His pulse quickened. He was alone, or was he? "Irevan?" he asked, his voice steady despite the unease. "You are not alone. Someone or something has followed the Orcs vanguard for decades. It senses the ship. It senses you." Jalen swallowed. He had walked into a mystery far bigger than he expected, and somehow he felt that repairing his freighter was the smallest adventure he would face tonight. He glanced once more at the name etched in dust, Orcs Vanguard. It was not just a ship, it was a challenge. And somehow he knew humanity, himself, was about to rise to meet it. Jalen Core had never felt more alive and more uneasy. The Orcs Vanguard hummed softly around him, as if the ship itself were breathing. He couldn't shake the strange feeling that this was no ordinary vessel. Every corridor seemed alive, every console beckoning him closer. "Irevan," Jalen said, walking along the polished hallway, "you said someone or something has followed this ship. What do you mean?" The Orcs Vanguard was built for missions beyond the known galaxy. Its mission was dangerous. Many watched it leave, hoping to seize it for themselves. Some never stopped following. Irevan's voice was calm, almost like a teacher explaining a simple fact. "Even now, remnants of its pursuers remain. They sense your presence." Jalen's stomach tightened. He had wanted a quiet repair job. Instead, he was now in a legendary cruiser with an AI talking about unseen enemies, as if he were already in the middle of a war he hadn't joined. "Great," he muttered. "I just wanted to fix my freighter, not be chased by some ghost fleet." "Curiosity brought you here. Survival will define your next choices." He shook his head. Humans always found themselves in trouble, but somehow they survived. Somehow they improvised when everything seemed lost. That had always been Jalen's advantage, and apparently the Vanguard had noticed it too. Jalen explored deeper into the ship. He found a corridor lined with storage bays. Most were empty, long picked over, but one bay contained containers covered with a fine layer of dust. He wiped one clean and opened it. Inside were personal items of the original crew, helmets, tools, and even a few journals. One journal, bound in worn leather, caught his attention. The handwriting inside was precise, careful. As Jalen flipped through it, he read logs of voyages, experiments, and encounters with strange phenomena. One entry made his heart race. We discovered a sector beyond known space. Intelligent life forms, none resembling humans, watched our every move. They feared what humans could do, adapt, survive, overcome. They underestimated us. We will continue. Humanity will prevail. Jalen couldn't help but smile. Humans were always underestimated. That was the advantage they carried: creativity, intuition, courage. Skills no machine or alien could match in full. Suddenly, Irevan spoke. Jalen, there are systems here that you can understand, even modify. Human engineering logic allows you to interact with parts of the ship others could not. Jalen's hands itched. Mechanics, after all, lived for moments like this, challenges that no one else could solve. He approached a control panel, curious. It displayed star maps he had never seen before, routes to uncharted galaxies. The system was locked, but the mechanisms were familiar. Jalen could repair, reroute, and even activate systems that had been dormant for decades. "All right," he said, leaning over the console. "Let's see what secrets you're hiding." Hours passed. Jalen traced circuits, rerouted power, and slowly brought the ship to life. Lights glowed brighter, engines hummed steadily, and even the ship's shields came online. Irevan watched silently, offering occasional advice. By the time he finished, the Orlaya Vanguard was fully operational, silent, powerful, and ready. As he explored the bridge, Jalen noticed a screen flickering with movement, tiny dots on a star chart, moving slowly, almost deliberately. "Irevan, what's that?" he asked. "Those are alien drones. They have tracked the Orlaya Vanguard for decades, across multiple systems. They remain near, waiting for an opportunity. They cannot approach openly or they risk exposure, but they know you are here." Jalen frowned. Drones. He had faced pirates and smugglers, but alien drones were a different story. Faster, smarter, relentless. They were designed to hunt, and now they were hunting him. "Guess they don't know humans are stubborn," Jalen muttered, tapping the console. "Let's see if they can handle a human mechanic and a few surprises." Irevan hummed softly, almost approvingly. "Humans are uniquely capable of improvisation. You will demonstrate this." Suddenly, the ship shuddered. A low hum like distant footsteps traveled through the hull. Jalen's eyes widened. He wasn't imagining it. Something was outside, moving against the starport, sensors detecting his presence. "Irevan, who's there?" "Hostile entities. They have followed the ship to this system, likely remnants of fleets that chased the Vanguard decades ago. You must prepare." Jalen took a deep breath. His instincts kicked in. Mechanics, transporters, explorers, they all had a code. Survive, adapt, improvise. He had tools, the ship, and a mind that could solve problems in ways no alien intelligence could predict. That had always been humanity's edge. He moved through the ship, activating defensive systems, rerouting power, and even modifying weapon arrays. Simple human logic allowed him to improvise in ways no advanced alien system could anticipate. Where an AI would follow strict rules, Jalen bent the rules, adapted circuits, and created solutions from nothing. Hours later, he tested the defenses. Tiny drones, scouts from the alien pursuers, tried to approach the docking bay. One by one, Jalen's improvisations disabled them. EMP pulses he rigged from old systems, automated traps using ship power conduits, even holographic decoys projected from the bridge. "Not bad for a human," Irevan said, almost admiringly. Jalen chuckled. "Not bad. I just saved this ship from a swarm of machines no one else could stop. Humans are simple, yeah, but we're clever." The AI hummed. "Clever is the word. You are living proof of the human advantage." As night, or what passed for night on Vardy's 9, fell, Jalen sat in the captain's chair. He gazed out at the stars, feeling the hum of the ship beneath him. Despite the danger, despite the unknown aliens watching, he felt a thrill he had never experienced. He opened one of the holographic logs. The last recorded message from the crew flashed on the screen. To whoever finds this ship, humanity is meant to endure, adapt, survive, and rise. Those who doubt you will fall. Those who underestimate you will regret it. The galaxy is watching. Jalen's eyes narrowed. The words echoed in his mind. He was just a mechanic, a simple human. Yet here he was, standing on a legendary ship with enemies tracking him and secrets that could change the course of history. "Guess I'm not just fixing a freighter anymore," he muttered. "I'm part of something bigger." Suddenly, a soft alarm chimed in the ship. He jumped to his feet. Sensors indicated a large object entering the system, a massive alien warship, bigger than any he had ever seen. Its silhouette loomed near the edge of the starport. "Irevan, that's huge. It is their capital vessel. They have arrived. They intend to capture the Vanguard." Jalen gritted his teeth. The thrill of challenge coursed through him. Humans were not easily defeated. They improvised, they adapted, they survived. And if these aliens thought a single human could be subdued, they were about to learn a lesson the galaxy would never forget. He raced to the bridge controls, rerouting power to shields and engines, preparing to maneuver. His hands worked with precision, turning ancient controls into modern solutions, bridging the old ship's capabilities with human ingenuity. Irevan spoke softly, almost in awe. "You may be the key to why humans remain a dominant force in this galaxy. Your actions now will define the legacy of those who built this vessel." Jalen smiled grimly. "Then let's show them what humans can do." The Orlia Vanguard thrummed with life, ready for whatever came next. And Jalen Core, simple mechanic turned protector of a legendary ship, knew that the adventure had only just begun. The Orlia Vanguard thrummed beneath Jalen's hands. Every control panel flickered with energy. Every engine coil vibrated with potential. Outside the bridge windows, the massive alien warship loomed like a dark mountain among the stars, its lights scanning for intruders. Jalen Core, a human mechanic with nothing but instinct, courage, and a knack for improvisation, stared it down. "Irevan," he said, voice steady despite the adrenaline in his veins, "what do they want? Just capture the ship." "Yes, they seek the ship's secrets and the lost coordinates it contains. Their fleets have been chasing the Vanguard for decades. They consider it a prize beyond measure." Jalen leaned back in the captain's chair. "A prize, huh? They had underestimated humans once again. That was the beauty of it. Humans were clever, unpredictable, relentless, and he had the ship's entire AI behind him. Then they're about to learn a lesson," he muttered. The alien warship moved closer, massive engines leaving streaks of blue light across the void. Scouts had already surrounded the docking bay. Jalen studied the sensors, tracing their movements. Alien drones were precise, calculating. They followed patterns, relying on algorithms and logic. Humans did not. Humans improvised. Humans adapted. He began working. Power rerouted to shields, weapons brought online, and then, using the ship's long-dormant systems, he created something the aliens could not predict: decoy projections of the Vanguard. Holograms flickered into existence, moving independently of the real ship, confusing the enemy sensors. Irevan's voice hummed in approval. "Your human problem-solving is effective. They do not anticipate your methods." Jalen grinned. "Never underestimate a human with a toolbox and a brain." The alien drones launched their first attack. Tiny, fast-moving ships darted toward the Vanguard like metallic hornets. Jalen worked the controls with precision. He rerouted power to the outer hull, creating sudden electromagnetic pulses that disabled several drones instantly. Others collided with the holographic decoys, confused by false signatures. One by one, the drones fell or ran. The aliens were intelligent, yes, but they were predictable. Their tactics relied on overwhelming force and strict patterns. A human could break both. Ireven, keep track of their formations. I'm going to improvise something. Using old wiring and conduit systems, Jalen activated the ship's main energy channels, creating a magnetic trap field near the docking bay. He watched the sensors carefully, calculating where the enemy ships would move. As predicted, they followed the usual attack route and then zap. The magnetic field slammed into their hulls, short-circuiting engines. Drones tumbled into space, sparks flying like tiny fireworks. Ireven hummed, impressed. Your solutions are uniquely human. They break standard protocols, Jalen shrugged. We've survived this way for centuries, makes life interesting. But the aliens were not giving up. A second wave approached, larger, faster, more dangerous. Jalen studied the star maps. He noticed asteroid clusters in the nearby system, remnants of a collapsed planet. A human's mind could turn anything into a weapon, and this was no exception. Ireven, he said, pointing at the map, if we can lure them into that debris field, we can use it like a trap. They won't adapt fast enough. Acknowledged. Ireven rerouted the Vanguard's engines, aligning with Jalen's plan. The ship shot forward, a sleek predator navigating the void. The alien warship followed, confident in its superiority. Jalen guided the Vanguard with pinpoint accuracy, weaving between massive chunks of rock and metal. He triggered small detonations along the edges, sending debris spiraling toward the alien fleet. The drones tried to dodge, but their algorithms failed to predict Jalen's improvisations. One by one, alien ships were damaged or destroyed. Jalen felt a surge of triumph. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, fighters, explorers. And right now, he was proving it in a way no alien could ignore. Hours passed in a blur of maneuvers, calculations, and rapid decisions. The Vanguard moved like a living creature, responding to Jalen's instincts. He modified systems in real time, combining old mechanical tricks with advanced AI interfaces. The aliens had never encountered tactics like this. No simulations could predict a human's combination of creativity and boldness. Finally, the alien warship itself drew near. Massive, heavily armed, it moved like a hammer ready to strike. Jalen's heart pounded. This was the ultimate test. Ireven, he said, we need something extreme, something they won't expect. I have one suggestion, but it requires complete trust in human improvisation. Jalen nodded. Do it. Let's show them what humans can do. The ship hummed, engines channeling energy into the outer hull. Jalen activated a sequence he had devised on the fly, combining the Vanguard's ancient systems with modern logic. A surge of energy radiated outward, forming a temporary, nearly invisible barrier. Sensors picked up the alien warship's approach, and then chaos. The aliens' weapons hit the barrier and bounced off unpredictably, some striking their own drones, others sending small explosions cascading across their hull. Confusion spread through their fleet. Their algorithms could not adapt to the random, improvisational patterns Jalen had created. He laughed aloud, adrenaline coursing through his veins. That's what humans do. We think outside the rules. Ireven's voice was quiet, almost reverent. This is remarkable. The human's legacy is proving itself. The alien warship tried to regroup, launching a massive energy strike aimed directly at the Vanguard. Jalen anticipated it. He rerouted power to the shields, but also created a secondary channel to redirect excess energy toward a cluster of asteroids. The strike hit, detonating the rocks, creating a massive wall of debris between the Vanguard and the enemy. Jalen's heart pounded as he guided the ship through the chaos. Alien sensors were blinded, drones were disabled, and the warship's main strike failed. You're telling me, Jalen muttered, wiping sweat from his forehead, they didn't see that coming. They didn't even try to adapt. Adaptation requires creativity, not programming. Humans are uniquely suited for improvisation. You demonstrate why humans endure in ways no other species can." Jalen leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. "Well, I've only got one simple trick left: outsmart the big guy." The final confrontation came suddenly. The alien warship fired a concentrated energy beam directly at the Vanguard. Jalen's instincts kicked in. He manipulated the ship's engines to create erratic, unpredictable movements, weaving left and right in patterns no AI could calculate. The beam missed repeatedly, striking empty space or harmlessly dissipating. Then, using the Vanguard's ancient tractor emitters, Jalen grabbed a massive debris cluster and hurled it into the path of the warship. The aliens scrambled, trying to dodge, but Jalen's improvisation left them exposed. Their shields were pierced, systems damaged, and finally the warship retreated, recognizing defeat not in brute strength but in human ingenuity. "Irrelevant," Jalen said, breathing heavily. "I think they got the message." Indeed, humans are extraordinary. They survive because they adapt, because they improvise, and because they refuse to surrender. You have proven this today." Jalen smiled grimly. He was just a mechanic, just a human, but in that moment he had become more, a symbol. Proof that humans were clever, courageous, and unpredictable. After the alien fleet retreated, Jalen explored the ship further. He found more logs and charts, revealing secret human colonies, ancient technology, and plans for expansion across uncharted space. The Orcs Vanguard had been a mission to prove humanity's worth, and now, with Jalen aboard, that mission had succeeded beyond expectation. He paused at a small observation window, looking out at the empty starport and distant stars. The galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers and challenges, but humans had survived against impossible odds before. They had adapted, fought, and innovated. And Jalen Core, simple mechanic, had just reminded the galaxy why humans were remarkable. "All right, old girl," he said, patting the console. "Let's see what else you've got. Humans are just getting started." The ship hummed softly, ready for new adventures, new discoveries, and new challenges. And Jalen knew one thing for certain: humans were not just survivors. Humans were a force the galaxy would never forget. The Orcs Vanguard glided silently through space, the stars streaking past like silver threads. Jalen Core sat in the captain's chair, fingers resting lightly on the console. The alien warship had retreated, their fleet scattered and humbled, yet the sense of danger lingered. He knew the galaxy was watching. The humans had proven themselves, but the true test was yet to come. "Irrelevant," Jalen said, his voice calm but determined. "What else does this ship hold? The logs hinted at a lost colony, right?" "Correct. Coordinates point to a human colony long thought abandoned. Technology there may surpass even the most advanced alien systems. If they fall into the wrong hands, the galaxy could change forever." Jalen's jaw tightened. "Then we can't let that happen. Let's find it." The ship shifted course, engines humming as it leapt into faster-than-light travel. Jalen studied the holographic star maps, tracing paths across unknown galaxies. The lost colony was far, in a sector untouched by most explorers. No one had reached it in decades, not even the aliens chasing the Vanguard. "Looks like humans were more ambitious than anyone imagined," Jalen muttered. "Building colonies so far out, hidden away, ambition and adaptability define humans. You endure where others fail." Irevan's voice was almost proud, almost human in tone. Jalen smiled faintly. "Then let's see if we can keep that tradition alive." Days passed as the Vanguard traveled. Jalen spent his time studying the ship's systems, learning every mechanism, every trick the ancient humans had used. The more he explored, the more he realized how uniquely suited humans were for survival. Alien systems were powerful, yes, but rigid. Their machines lacked intuition, imagination, and daring, the traits that had allowed Jalen to outwit entire fleets. Finally, the lost colony came into view. Orbiting a golden-hued planet, The settlement was alive with lights, energy beams, and structures that seemed ancient but astonishingly advanced. Humans or remnants of them had survived here, thriving far from the prying eyes of alien empires. Jalen's heart pounded. The colony was real, and it contained secrets that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. "Ireven, scan for inhabitants," Jalen said cautiously. "We don't know who's left." Scanning, humans detected. Some AI-controlled systems operational, life support and energy fields stable, defensive arrays inactive. Jalen exhaled. It seemed they were alone, or at least unchallenged. Still, he knew better than to underestimate the galaxy. The aliens might return, and when they did, humans would need to be ready. He guided the Vanguard to a landing area, choosing a site near what appeared to be a central hub. The ship touched down with minimal friction, systems locking into place with quiet precision. Jalen stepped out onto the platform, feeling the planet's thin breeze on his face. This was a human colony, untouched and thriving, a testament to resilience and ingenuity. Walking among the structures, Jalen saw gardens, workshops, and living quarters. Humans, or descendants of the original settlers, moved with purpose, operating machines and tools with skill and efficiency. Their eyes widened as they noticed the Vanguard descending from orbit. Whispers spread quickly. The legendary ship had returned. A woman approached, her expression a mixture of awe and curiosity. Who are you?" she asked. "Jalen Core," he said, stepping forward. "I'm just a mechanic, though apparently the galaxy thinks humans are more than that. I came in your ship, the Orlia Vanguard." The woman's eyes widened further. "The Vanguard? It disappeared decades ago." "How?" Jalen shrugged, glancing at the ship. "Not exactly sure myself. But it seems humans, us, are harder to keep down than most species think. We survive, we adapt, we improvise." Her lips curled into a faint smile. "Then I guess the galaxy should watch carefully. Humans never give up." As Jalen explored the colony, Ireven shared more insights. "The colony contains technology far beyond what your current fleets use. If weaponized or exploited, it could shift power across multiple sectors. Your actions will define humanity's influence." Jalen frowned. "Then we have a responsibility. Not just for humans here, but for the galaxy itself." He spent hours coordinating with the colony's AI systems, upgrading defenses, and establishing communication arrays. Every adjustment he made reflected uniquely human ingenuity. Where alien engineers would have followed protocol, Jalen created new solutions, combining old technology with instinctive improvisation. Hours turned into days. The colony became fully operational under his guidance, ready to defend itself if necessary. Yet more than defense, Jalen saw an opportunity. Humans could show the galaxy what they were capable of, without violence. Innovation, courage, and problem-solving could serve as humanity's true strength. Suddenly, Ireven interrupted. "Unknown fleet detected. Alien forces have returned. They know the colony exists." Jalen's stomach tightened. He had anticipated this. Aliens never gave up, but humans never surrendered. "All right," he muttered, "let's see if they've learned anything." The alien fleet entered orbit, massive warships casting long shadows across the planet. They were confident, armed, and ready to attack, but Jalen had spent days preparing. He activated the colony's defensive systems, linking them with the Vanguard. Turrets, energy fields, and automated decoys all came online. The aliens struck first. Energy beams sliced toward the planet, but the humans' defenses activated in perfect synchronization. Turrets fired in unpredictable patterns, decoys scrambled targeting systems, and the Vanguard's interventions disrupted the alien fleet's coordination. Jalen maneuvered the ship like a living weapon, weaving between enemy fire and guiding the colony's defenses. Each decision was instinctive, each adjustment calculated yet improvisational. The aliens found themselves facing tactics they could not predict, structures they could not bypass, and humans they could not anticipate. Irevan spoke softly, almost in awe. Your strategy's uniquely human, the aliens cannot adapt. Jalen smiled grimly. That's the point. Humans survive because we don't follow rules blindly. We think, we change, we fight smarter than anyone expects. The battle continued for hours. Alien ships tried to breach the colony's defenses, but Jalen's improvisation and the humans' ingenuity prevailed. Drones were disabled, weapons misfired, and ships were forced to retreat one by one. Finally, the alien fleet began a full withdrawal. Jalen exhaled, exhausted but triumphant. Humans had once again proven their resilience, courage, and adaptability. The woman from the colony approached, watching the retreating alien fleet. I've never seen anything like that. Humans were unstoppable when we worked together. Jalen nodded. Not just unstoppable, unique. We survive because we think differently, because we don't follow patterns others expect. We innovate, adapt, and endure. Irevan added, this is why humans hold a special place in the galaxy. Others may have strength or speed, but humans have something no machine or alien can replicate: creativity, courage, and the will to survive. Jalen smiled, looking at the colony thriving under the golden sunlight. For decades, humans had been underestimated. Today, they had shown the galaxy why that was a mistake. In the following days, Jalen helped establish communications with other human colonies, linking networks, sharing knowledge, and preparing for future encounters with alien forces. The Orcs vanguard, once a lost relic, became a symbol of human ingenuity and determination. Irevan, Jalen said one evening, sitting in the ship's observation deck, we did it. Humans have survived, we've adapted, and we've shown the galaxy what we're capable of. Indeed, Jalen, you have proven that humanity's greatest strength lies not in numbers or firepower, but in ingenuity, courage, and perseverance. The galaxy will remember this day. Jalen leaned back, looking out at the endless stars. The journey had begun with a simple goal: repair a freighter. Instead, it had led to the discovery of a legendary ship, the rescue of a lost colony, and the demonstration of human ingenuity to the galaxy. Humans, he muttered, we may be small, but we're clever. And clever is enough to survive anything. The Orcs vanguard hummed beneath him, alive, powerful, and ready for whatever challenges the galaxy could throw at them. Jalen knew this was just the beginning. Humanity would endure. Humanity would thrive. And humanity would always find a way to stand out, no matter the odds.